Hello guys, this is Designer Talker speaking. This will be the first ever video I'm going to be using my voice. And technically the first ever video I'll make using CapCut, or I plan on using that. I don't know yet. But what I do know is I'm going to be making a new hybrid for reaching over 30 subscribers and over 200 followers on Instagram, which, thank you for the support, by the way. You have no idea what it means to me. Now let's get into the hybrid. Before we start, I always just have one thing to say. We're making this hybrid based off SCP-682, or a bioaccurate version. Just because I want to see if I could make something that resembled SCP-682 that could possibly work in realism. The first base genome is the Deinosuchus. It being a reptile and having one of the strongest bite forces in recorded history is pretty nice, and along with all the crocodilian traits, including immune system, tooth venereal, a strong tail, all that. The next contributor, the base genome number 2, is Shantungosaurus, a hadrosaur, which will provide the tail, legs, and other stuff, and overall be a second base genome to it, just to give it that size. Our next contributor is the African dwarf crocodile. I'm using the African dwarf crocodile for what most people use, the full body osteoderm skin and the joints. I want to try to push this hybrid as far away as from Gilgamesh as possible. So I'm just going to use its joints, and I'm going to try to hope that it doesn't try to use that crushing method, and instead would use the bite, which would be one of the deadliest of any hybrids. Our next contributor is the Komodo dragon. This needs no further introduction. I'll be taking their iron teeth, as well as the teeth's self-sharpening attributes, their venom, which is pretty deadly, claws, which are pretty sharp, and their tongues, so it can, have a better sense of smell. Our fifth contributor and the first mammalian animal in the genome, the American bison. I'll be taking their extremely strong hump and vertebrae to help lift the neck, as well as the horns for display. This species might not use the horns for attack. Well, maybe they will, I don't know. But they're mostly there for display purposes. Our sixth contributor is the chameleon. Now, I'm not going to take it for their camouflaging skin, which does not change at will. They change based off their emotions. Instead, I'll be taking their movable eye stalks. Now, this hybrid's eyes won't be able to turn that full 360 degrees, but I hope it would be able to see its surroundings much better. Our next contributor for much better armor is the Shichania, for that thick osteoderm skin running around its back, and tail and flanks. So it'll be a little harder to pierce. And also they're one of the few ankylosaurs. I think they're an ankylosaur. Yeah, I think they are. Or that have armor on their front limbs, which we will also be taking. Next, we've got a pretty famous dinosaur, Stegosaurus, for that famous Thagomizer, also known as the tail spike. The reason why I'm choosing this over the club because it's a little risky with the club, I think, and I think the Stegosaurus tail spike is much better for this hybrid. It fits it better. So we'll be picking that. Our ninth contributor, more than halfway through, is the Alamosaurus. This is here to increase the length and the length only to around 60 to 65 feet long. We'll also be taking their thermoregulation, so that way this hybrid can vent off any extra heat it doesn't need, and an efficient breathing system. With the air sacs, which will allow them to have much better breathing systems overall. Our 10th and second mammalian contributor is the Basilosaurus. We'll be taking the Basilosaurus's teeth. Now, it might be a little risky, but I think it should be fine with these teeth. Besides, they were meant to grip, which crocodile teeth do. So, working together, and they're sharper and bigger, and overall I think it would help a lot. Our 11th contributor is the African gray parrot. We'll be taking this parrot's intelligence, which will allow it to think much smarter and somewhat vocal memory, because SCP-682 can talk So we're just going to use the African gray parrot for their intelligence and vocal mimicry. Next, we have the leatherback sea turtle. We'll be taking it for its cold resistance. Now, this hybrid won't be able to thrive in much colder environments, but if it finds itself with rapidly declining temperatures, it should be fine until it can hibernate. Right? Which it'll do to survive the cold temperatures. And their keratinized throat spines. It's also kind of there for display, but I think it can serve a much more useful purpose. The African spiny The African spiny mouse is here for their regeneration and can regrow lost skin and tissue pretty fast. Now it won't be able to grow entire limbs, but it shall be a pretty good contributor for regeneration. Now I know a creature of this size will probably need a efficient source of food, and I think it needs a much better diet to be able to get the food it needs. The Argentinian black and white tegu is here for their diet and digestive system, which will allow it to have a variety of diet, whether that be from berries, fruits, meat, whatever. If the tegu can eat it, so can my SCP-682. The second to last contributor is a sulcata tortoise. We'll be taking a sulcata tortoise for their mouth pads, which will allow it to eat or bite into sharp objects, just in case in the future it handles any quills or spiked opponents. It should be able to handle it quite well. And for our last contributor, we'll be taking the thorny devil. For they're a unique system which will allow them to transfer any water to the skin, to the mouth. They do have this ability, by the way. And for the basic obvious, all the spikes. You seriously think I was gonna miss out on that? And here is SCP-682. Standing around 20 to 22 2 feet with a length around 60 to 65 feet, weighing at 20 to 25 tons. And in my opinion, I think it will work. Well, who knows? And thank you for watching this video to the end. It means a lot to me. Bye.